Proud supporters of Africa this week. Engine, with us, you are number one.
Welcome back to Africa This Week. Africa's building materials industry is amongst the most dynamic investment destinations in the continent. This emerged at the Nedbank Africa Investment Conference that just concluded in Johannesburg. We spoke to Surendra Bhatia, Deputy Managing Director of RT River Mining, about the industry in East Africa.
The curve of the cement consumption. We are still just providing basic housing to our people. Infrastructure is just starting to come in. We have to put in our airports, our ports, we have to put in our roads, the bridges, the flyovers. We have to provide permanent housing to all our people. So we feel that cement going forward is going to be the key driver of the economic growth in the region. Therefore, we as a cement company believe in the cement story, and we believe that's the right space to be in.
Kenyan cement production companies have also leveraged their ability to produce power to improve synergies in the sector.
There's a lot of synergy between us going into power and our cement production. One, as you rightly mentioned, it's the coal. We are going to be using the same coal source to produce electricity as we use in our cement plants. It's the same coal which we import from South Africa. More importantly, one of the reasons why we don't see coal-based power plants in East Africa region is because there's an environmental factor. What do we do with the coal ash which is produced? Now, coal ash can be used by the cement industry as an additive. It makes perfect sense and synergy for us to use a byproduct from the power plant into our cement manufacturing process, and at the same time take away the environment hazard which it may create if it was not put to use. It matches perfectly, and we see the synergies between power and cement. Power is the total cement consumption. We have 42% of our energy is used in cement. 42% of the total cost is energy cost. A stable source of power would not only ensure that our capacities are run to full capacity, but it will also ensure that we are getting stable power which will reduce the maintenance costs of a cement plant. So there are several synergies which come into play in terms of the cement as well as in terms of the power project.
The falling shilling is a source of deep concern, but Bhatia says companies in the sector can still evolve sound business models to protect their bottom lines.
There are two ways of looking at it. Is a falling shilling good for the economy? Obviously, no. A stable currency is better. Depreciating currency adds to the inflation problems. We already have a high inflation rate. High inflation rates takes away the buying power of the people, and therefore the economy is likely to slow down if the currency continues to depreciate. But then we look at it from our company point of view. Right. We have 20% of our revenue coming out of dollar-based sales. Now we sell our lime to the gold mines, to the copper mines, to the uranium mines. These are all dollarized sales. We export our products to about 18 countries on the east coast and west coast of Africa. These are dollarized sales. Now, a depreciating shilling therefore has some good impact on us as a company, because our revenues go up, our competitiveness increases. So to that fact, we are not going to be impacted at the same level as other companies in the region. Now, how do we balance it? Now, currency fluctuations are something which are not in a company's control. These are macroeconomic factors which come into play. How do we balance that? How do we mitigate the impact of such a shilling fall? The only thing which we can do is to dollarize our exports, get more and more dollar revenues, so that over a period of time we balance the depreciating shilling versus a increased dollar revenue.
How can Africa at large create Pan-African policy strategies get towards growth in private enterprise?
In a very simple language, I would say the future of Africa depends on us being able to integrate as one unit. It's very important because it allows us to share our strengths and overcome our weaknesses by integration. Now, the strengths which every market has is quite different. We have a rich mineral base in Kenya. We may not have it in some other parts of Africa. In some other parts of Africa, we may have another resource which may not be available. Now, if we are to share our resources and convert these resources into value-add products by regional integration, I think that would be the best model for us to grow Africa into a very developed world.
Zambia boasts one of Africa's most dynamic energy and power generation industries in the continent. At the Nedbank Africa Investment Conference, Buntu Williams spoke to Mutale Makuka, Director of Corporate Finance at Zambia's Copperbelt Energy Corporation, a private company that supplies power to the country's mining industry. He began by discussing opportunities in the energy sector in Africa.
Opportunities that are there in other regions, we'll definitely embrace them. And now, when we talk about the Nigerian opportunity that is there, the Nigerian government is privatizing the sector there, and the power sector, and we thought it was the right opportunity for us to get in there and try and help to improve the sector there. We take our skills and help with the reforms that are going on in there.
Problem is that companies such as Copperbelt Energy Corporation specialize in power supply to the mining industry. Is that not perhaps a weakness?
If a mine shuts down, then we won't supply the power, and essentially we won't make our money. But I think it's a two-switched spear. That's how we see it. From one extent, yes, we take on some mining risk, but on the other, we also don't take on fully the mining risk, because when the mines are making supernormal profits, we don't quite benefit, and we see ourselves, the cost of producing power is fixed. So whether on the mining side there's abnormal profit, we'll just take what is supposed to be ours, and the other way around, they understand better how they mitigate their risks, and probably we're not the best suited to participate in that at this stage.
Zambian producers believe the country is using appropriate technology and can continue to grow while observing climate-friendly methods of energy generation.
Up until a few years ago, probably 1995, that's when the Electricity Act came into effect, and what we've seen subsequently is the coming in of new IPPs in the sector, both on the generation side. On the transmission side, we've got Copperbelt Energy. On the generation side, historically, we've had Lunsemfwa, and of course, the big player is the state utility ZESCO, which generates the bulk, if not all the power that is consumed in Zambia. Now, we're seeing a few more projects coming on stream or under construction. We've got ZESCO constructing the Kariba North Bank, which is being done as an SPV. There is talk in the media of the Iteji, which is being done by ZESCO and Tata. And we also have the Kafue Gorge Lower, which was given to the Chinese and ZESCO. So you see that there are a lot more players coming in, and there are a number of reforms that are being made to accommodate participation of other players in the sector.
Copperbelt Energy Corporation believes the Southern Africa Power Pool plan will have significant impact on the region's economic fortunes.
That association is extremely important, especially to organizations like ours. As you note, we are one of the members in the Southern African Power Pool, and probably one of probably the only private transmission that is a member in there. Now, we see ourselves playing a bigger role in Southern Africa when it comes to transmission and supply of power. We can see where the bottlenecks are and where there are limited surpluses of power, and would want to play a much bigger role with time to try and reduce the transmission constraints where we can, to ensure that the entire system in Southern Africa can accommodate the flow of power from one country to the other, to ensure that all the economies grow at the same rate, and electricity should not be, or energy supply should never ever be an inhibitor to growth.
Well, that's all for this edition of Africa This Week. Join us again next week for another roundup of the top stories in Africa. From me, Mashudu Masuta, and the team, it's goodbye.